I'm glad that you guys got good catering for fighters. Happy about that.
Them after dying.
No, absolutely not. Sure. George Lockhart might kill me.
Thank you.
Can't even see the shit. Can you still hear me if I lean back?
Yeah.
John.
What's up, brother?
We going to Italy or what?
I can't.
What?
I know.
Dude, I'm not going. It won't be the same.
Won't be the same. We'll figure that.
I don't know about that.
Good.
If it's Mike Chevelle, I'm in.
Chris, can you move that mic stand forward a little bit?
Be careful, because did you tighten the top or not?
Yeah, it looks sentimental.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, that thing is.
See how they move.
I'll lean forward. Let's just not risk this thing tipping over.
All right, you guys good? Cool. Well, Mike's been 9 months on the sidelines for you after a tough outing the last time. So give me an idea what kind of the emotions been like, what the feelings been like, because I know that was a tough one last time out.
You got to have a short-term memory. So I just put it behind me. I did my boo-hooing, and like I said, just put it behind me. I had a few injuries to take care of, and I'm back. It feels good, and my sole focus is Anthony Pettis. I have my brush-ins with Kevin Lee here at the PI, but all in all, I'm very focused on Anthony right now.
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, you decided to come out here to Las Vegas, obviously use this great facility, but you got to run into Kevin Lee every now and then. How do those interactions work? Do you try to avoid each other?
No, I don't try to avoid him. There's some hand gestures that have been thrown around, and I don't like the guy, but I respect him as a competitor. And we actually had a little locker room discussion the other day and talked about a potential rematch in July. So, that's just locker room talk. But it could happen, and it's been thrown around between him and I. So we'll see what happens. But I just gotta stay focused on Anthony Pettis. That's where my mind's at. That's where my focus is, and I'm really excited for April 7th.
What did you think about this matchup? I mean, Anthony, obviously a big name, former champion, had some kind of mixed results lately, but when they came to this fight, I mean, was it one that excited you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about quality fights. You know what I mean? Some people are always asking me, you haven't fought often. You fought twice in the last 2 years, and like I said, I had a few injuries to take care of, and I got those behind me. But I'm all about quality right now. You know what I mean? I got to the point in the UFC when I fought 3 times in a year and things of that sort, and I got myself in the rankings. So now I'm all about the quality fights, and here I am doing a media scrum before the biggest fight of the year against a former world champion. That's a good mindset to have because it's gotten me into a good fight.
Pretty big time for the lightweight division. You talk about, I mean, there's a lot of big fights coming up, big names, big matchups. I mean, how do you see things kind of playing out right now? I know you're coming off a loss, but are you looking at kind of your path to the top?
Oh yeah, I'm always looking at my path to the top. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to be second best. I'm here to be world champion. When the day comes I lose the drive to win a world title, then I'm just done. I mean, what's the point of being in the pinnacle of a sport if you're not striving to be the best at it? So, it's an exciting time to be a lightweight. April's a huge month. I mean, we got a lot of big matchups. I don't even got to name them. You guys already know. But if you want me to, Paul Felder, Ali Quinta, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Kevin Lee, Edson Barboza. That's a heavy load of lightweight fights, and that's really good. That's what this division needs. We've had some stagnant type moments with, even back when Anthony was champion. He had injuries that held the division up. And this division's been kind of plagued with, not inactivity, but just not movement in the top 5 in the championship picture. So, it's an exciting time to be a lightweight.
I guess kind of touching on that, I mean, Conor McGregor does come back at the end of this year, like most people think he will. I mean, do you feel like he has a right to step into the title shot and face the winner of Khabib and Tony Ferguson?
It's a double-edged sword for me. Yes, I say yes as a fan because the guy was a 2-division champion at one point. You know what I mean? He's had to relinquish one title. We'll see if he's got to relinquish the other one. But yeah, he's earned his right to go in and out. I mean, he's done big things in the sport, but the other side of me says no, because I'm going to beat Anthony Pettis. I'm going to jump in the top 5, and I'm going to say, screw you. You're not leapfrogging me. You can fight me for that spot again. You should have stayed. You should have stayed champion. You should have stayed active. And like I said, it's a double-edged sword. It's hard to say. It's hard to put my thumb on that one.
I know you're not looking ahead of this fight, but I mean, I also know that you're kind of a fan, and you think about things the way they lay out. James Vick is a guy that keeps calling you out. I mean, is he a guy that's in your future at all? Does that fight make any sense if you win here?
If you knock someone out, would you want to rematch him? Exactly. Next question.
Give me your plans for 2018. How do you see this? How do you see this year laying out?
Going undefeated for the year. That's really right now. I'm in the best place I've been in my whole career. I'm here at the UFC PI, not just for this scrum. I've done my whole camp here. My body's healthy. This is the best I've ever been going into a camp or going into a fight. And I know it's so cliche to say every guy's like, this is the best version of myself, blah, blah, blah. But this really is, you know what I mean? I'm around a world-class staff that's pushing me to the limit, but also making sure I don't break myself, which happens, you know, that's something that I tend to have a problem with. So, you know, I feel like this is the best product I'm going to bring into the Octagon on April 7th. So, you know, this is a really exciting time for my career. And, you know, my goal is to end this year at #1 contender. You know, I got to go make a statement. I got to go beat Anthony better than Poirier did. I got to go do better than the other guys. That's a tall order. We're talking Max Holloway, Rafael dos Anjos. We're talking some big name guys. I got to do it better than them. So, you know, that's the plan. #1 contender by December. Ooh, that rhymes. #1 contender by December.
It's Chiesa time.
It's Chiesa time.
Just recently, you were front row at the WWE event at Ronda Rousey's first appearance. How did that come about, being there with Cormier and Travis?
So my awesome manager, Daniel Rubenstein, manager extraordinaire, who happens to be good friends with Daniel. I'm a big fan of Daniel as well. We always have good interactions in passing, but Daniel arranged me to go hang out with DC and his team while they were here filming for Tough. So went and hung out with them, and he brought me out to dinner and was just like, "Hey, you want to go to a WWE event?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I've never been to one." And you know, I was all about the Attitude Era as a kid, so you know, it was like something on my bucket list to check off. And it wasn't until we were like walking into the arena that they started talking about Ronda, and I'm like, "What? What about Ronda?" Like, dude, she's signing her contract tonight. I was like, "Whoa!" Like, I didn't realize we were going to this type of magnitude of an event. You know what I mean? So it was such a cool experience, and to be there with DC and his guys, those guys are a riot, dude. I had a blast.
What is the atmosphere like compared to an MMA event?
To me, this sounds gonna sound bad, but it does. You gotta let me see this answer through. It's kind of childish, but not in a bad way. It's just like it's good fun. You know what I mean? There's not like, you know, when you're at a UFC event, there's bad nerves as to who's gonna win. You know what I mean? This is real fighting. These guys, like, there's nothing scripted, nothing planned. Like, these guys got to go slug it out. Someone's gonna get their hand raised. So being there, it's like, yeah, in the back of my mind, I know it's scripted, but I just feel like a kid. And I'm just kind of letting go, you know, and just having a good time. And I got, you know, Roman Reigns was like 10 feet away from him, and he's like 10 feet tall, and I was just like, screw you, Roman Reigns. Fucking crap. Being, you know, I really engaged in the event. It was a blast. I could definitely see myself going to another one.
And what do you think about Ronda crossing over and other fighters doing stuff like that?
Good for Ronda, and good for the other fighters. You know, if that's something that they want to do, and you know, MMA is a good platform to move on to something like that. We've seen collegiate wrestlers like Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar make that move and be very successful at it. But I mean, for Ronda, I mean, good for her. I mean, some people try to talk crap about, you know, the end of her career and her fights with Holly and Amanda, but you know, I tell those people to screw off. You know what I mean? She's done a lot for the sport. You know, she had a great run as a champion, and good for her to move on to another avenue. And you know, she's going to be very successful. She's going to make a buttload of cash, and she's going to have a lot of fun. And I'm happy for her. That's awesome.
What was it like watching wrestling next to DC? Because supposedly he's a very excitable man.
It was awesome, man. He's I was kind of feeding off his energy, so he was just pumped up, and you know, he's talking trash to guys, and so I like totally jumped on board. And you know, and if those guys actually took anything I said to heart, I would have just been like, I'm with him, bro. You got to deal with this guy. So it was fun, man.
Is it true that your manager is helping you sharpen up your wrestling technique for this camp?
You know, no. I try to get him out there on the mats, but I don't think he wants anything to do with my head snapping and you know, my head draw series. So I'm letting him. I'll let him bask in his glory days, Mr. Division I. I see you over there.
Last thing for me too. What is your prediction for Khabib and Tony Ferguson? How do you see that one going down?
Well, here's my educated opinion, and I think this is going to be pretty damn accurate. You got Tony Ferguson, who has possibly the most weapons out of anybody at lightweight, maybe in the UFC. I mean, the guy is as dynamic as it gets. Striking, elbows, knees, grappling, wrestling. I mean, he really covers the bases in terms of the skill set of a mixed martial artist. He's got way more weapons than Khabib. But Khabib has the equalizer. We're talking that wrestling and that pressure. I mean, it's unparalleled. You know what I mean? And I think that, like I said, that's the equalizer in the fight. I think that Khabib's going to get him down, but I think that he's going to pay for it. I think that, you know, Tony on his back is a very dangerous man. We saw in the Kevin Lee fight, we've seen in a lot of his fights, the guy can throw elbows, he can throw up submissions with minimal effort, very, very busy on bottom. So, you know, I don't see Tony really trying to stop the takedowns. You know, Tony's he's a 10th planet black belt, well accredited grappling, and, you know, I don't really see him trying to stop the takedowns, bless you. And, but, you know, Khabib's going to pay for it. But, that being said, I still think Khabib wins 3-2, possibly split decision. I think Tony's going to win some rounds off his back. Tony wins, I would be surprised, but it's hard to, you know, I just don't know if Tony has great grappling, but I just don't know if it's the right grappling style to beat Khabib. I think to beat Khabib, you got to maintain the scramble once you hit the floor and try to, you know, spin around and scramble into a dominant position. I just don't think, I think Tony's going to accept the guard, and, you know, rightfully so, he's got a dangerous guard, so, I don't think that's a bad thing, but I don't think it's the best thing.
Pretty solid analysis there.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Future in this.
Working on it. Evan's up next again.
Thanks, sir.
D1, bask in your glory. Whose miniature guitar is this?
I don't know.
I'll look at it though.
At one point, my headphones sent like a little shock through my ear.
Oh,
I was like, what the fuck is this? I've never had that happen before. I don't know if there's a short in this. Yeah, I don't know if there's maybe a short in this or something. But yeah, I felt like this little like spark like right on the inside. So I was like, so if I happen to go down, have them check my gear.
I'll put my foot under your head so you know.
Sure, yeah.
While you're seizuring. I'll do that much for you. He's like, oh, he's down there. Here, I'll just stick my foot under it.
Dunham. Good, how are you? Made you change your shoes too?
That's funny. I was wondering what Ozzy was doing here. Like,
I guess I need a bigger, wider angle shot
Yeah.
to include the shoes. Yes.
Alright, guys, Evan Dunham. Thank you.
just let me know when you're good. Good. Evan, it's last month marked your 9-year anniversary in the UFC, man. I got to ask, I mean, when you got into this, did you ever think you'd have this kind of longevity and be doing this at the UFC level for so long?
You know, I hope so. 9 years is a long time, but I feel I'm just getting going. I got a few more years left in me for sure. You know, being here at the PT and the PI has been helping me a lot. You know, it's keeping me young. So with this place, I'm going to be around for a while.
I was going to say, I mean, as long as you've been around, it seems like you're fighting better than you ever have. So, I mean, what is the key to your success as of late?
I think a little less is more sometimes, learning to pull back at certain times, not beating myself up too much, doing lots of due diligence outside of camp, staying in good shape. That's, I think, the key for me getting a little better. So I don't feel like I'm slowing down. I don't feel like I'm regressing at all. I actually feel like my technique's getting better. Physically, I feel better too.
Coming off a draw last time out, kind of ended the nice win streak. What's the feeling after a draw, man? It's such a kind of a unsatisfying ending to a fight, I guess.
Well, I don't see it as the ending of a win streak because I didn't lose. So, a draw, I didn't know how to quite deal with it when it first happened because I never had a draw before in 30-some fights. And so after it happened, I was a little bummed out, but in retrospect, I'm okay with it. It was a good performance. Got cracked early, was able to come back quite a bit. I thought I won the fight, but I'm sure he feels that way too. So I don't see it as a loss, I see it as a win.
Yeah, originally you were matched up with Mairbek Tyson for this upcoming card. I got to ask, when that fight was given to you, were you aware of all the visa issues and the problems he's had? So I mean, was this something that was in the back of your mind the whole time that I might lose my opponent?
Yeah, I actually didn't know too much about him. Besides, he's on a good win streak, a lot of power. But then I started to hear that stuff a little bit after a signing. So you know, that was in the back of my head, but I trained for him. I didn't expect anything besides to fight him. But when it, you know, I just kind of told myself, if there's a change of opponent, no big deal, switch gears. And when it did switch and I get a different opponent, I think it's actually a style that is a little bit favorable to me. So it was an easy switch for me.
Was there a fear at all when you lost your opponent? Because I know you've had, you know, your share of fights drop out over the years. I mean, was there any concern like this fight might not happen?
No concern that it wouldn't happen. I knew I'd get on the card because there was enough time. I'm just happy to have an opponent. I'm happy to have somebody who's ready to get in there and get after it, who's on a little bit of a winning streak himself. So I'm happy with the opponent. You know, it would be nice to still have Mirbeck, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, last thing for me, you've been pretty complimentary of Bobby Mercier so far. I mean, break him down. Kind of, what do you see? Why do you feel like it's kind of maybe a more favorable matchup for you?
He's a ground guy. I like the ground. I'm no stranger to it. So you know, there's no question on what he wants to do. He wants to get you against the cage. He wants to use that inside-outside trip, get you to the ground, kind of pressure you, make you turtle up, turn your back, jump on your back. And he's really good about finishing when getting on the back. But I see that being very difficult for him with me. You know, so I like to fight grapplers. I think it would be a really good fight. Should be really exciting too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Let me ask one more because I know your affinity for grappling. So I got to think Tony Ferguson, Khabib Nurmagomedov to you is a fight that you're looking forward to seeing. So give me your analysis on that. Who do you think wins that fight and why?
I'm gonna go with. I think they're both great fighters. I think they're both good what they're able to do. And I think what's going to determine who wins and loses is if Ferguson can keep things moving. You know, if Khabib's able to control him on the ground, like slow things down, I think it's going to be Khabib all day. But if Ferguson's able to keep those scrambles going, keep everything moving, I think it would be Ferguson. But like I said, you know, Khabib's really good at slowing things down. So if he's able to do that, I'm going with Khabib. If it's, you know, the scrambles keep up, I'm going with Ferguson. It should be a real fun fight. I'm looking forward to it as a fan.
I know you said you were taking care of your body and you know, trying to give it a little bit more time, but 2018, how busy are you hoping to be in?
You know, I'm looking for about 2 fights. You know, if things go really good in one of them, you know, and I'm able to do a quick comeback, then I do 3. Just kind of depends. I always give myself plenty of time after a fight, even if I don't take a lot of damage, to recover, you know, for the head and just for the body. I always take 6 weeks of no contact at all afterwards, except for maybe grappling. So, you know, I would like to get at least 1 more in this year, if not 2 more.
How's the gym going?
Gym's doing great, really busy. Got 2 daughters, I got the gym, I got training, you know, so better too busy than not busy enough is my motto right now.
Sure. Well, even maybe having the gym and watching that grow as a business and having sort of life set outside of fighting, but how has that helped improve your overall fighting game, having that different aspect, being able to sit back and watch these fighters come up, you know, from the get-go?
Yeah, the gym's helped me a lot, you know. You know, since I've opened, I haven't lost. You know, I took a draw, but like I said, I don't consider that a loss. And I think it's helped me because I'm not so single-minded anymore. Everything's not about what's going to happen in the next fight. It's a lot of different moving pieces, you know, between my daughters and the gym, and so it doesn't give me too much time to obsess over one thing. And when I'm not obsessing over one thing, I think I'm able to be a little bit more natural in all of them without forcing anything. So I think it's helped a lot. The guys and gals that I have down at the gym are great. Every time I walk in there, it's like walking in, you know, friends and family, and it's a really good time. You know, it's brought the love for the sport back for me. I know that gets lost sometimes for guys that have been in the game for a while. They get a little burnout, but I don't feel that way at all right now, especially because of the gym.
Well, I guess because of that, you know, you have been in the game for a long time, but it sounds like you've already started setting yourself up for after the game. But how long, I know I'm not trying to retire or anything, but have you thought about, like, when makes sense for you now that you have a business, you have young girls? Has there been is it 40? Is it 42? Are you even thinking about it? Or is there an end game that you're already thinking about at some point?
I always just kind of equate it down to one thing, and that's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is looking back and saying, what if? I don't ever want to say what if, you know. If I cut it too short, I don't want to be that old guy sitting on the couch explaining to my grandkids, you know, could have done this if I would have. No, I won't. No what ifs. I'm going to hammer it out until I know there's nothing left. And when there's nothing left, I'll know, and then I'll be okay walking away. And I'm not putting any time on that.
you know, you're getting better with age, but how is your overall game evolved? How has it changed through the years to make you get better?
I'm fighting smarter. You know, in my earlier part of the career, I used to go out there and just bang it out, and you know, I've been known for getting out there and just leaving it all on bloody mess. And you know, I still go out there and give it all. You know, I'm never gonna shy away. It showed in the last fight, got cracked really good. You know, definitely a 10-8 first round, but I was able to battle back win the next two. But I fight smarter. You know, I use my technique and my distance to control things a little bit better, set stuff up. I'm a very greedy fighter now, meaning I only want to do what I want to do. I'm not going to give you an inch if I can. And instead of saying, okay, I'll meet you in the middle and we'll just duke it out. So I think that equates to a lot of me getting better.
You know what? Thanks.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You got one?
Thanks, Ed.
Love it. Yeah, well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I got nowhere to go.
Well, UFC will continue to evolve with different fighters and new faces coming around and so forth, but just your thoughts on liking to see maybe perhaps Conor getting back into the ring and you know what it does and what are your thoughts on it?
You know, I hope he does. You know, I think for his sake, I think he would want to. You know, like kind of talking about what ifs. You know, never being able to say what if. You know, he's at a point where he's obviously one of the best in the world. He's still got to beat a few guys to, you know, to kind of keep that ball rolling at this point because he's been away for so long. But I don't see him not wanting to get back. He's a fighter. You know, all fighters want to get back. I understand the layoff. If I made that kind of money, I'd take that kind of layoff too. You see me on a yacht in some ocean hanging out as well. But I think there would be a time where you get that itch again. And he's going to have to scratch it. So we'll see him back, I think.
Something about him getting back into the octagon. Huh?
Yeah, I think he'll be back. I think he'll be back within the year, in my opinion.
Who'd you rather see him fight, Khabib or Tony?
Whoever wins.
And I was curious about, you know, a lot of fighters talk about 165-pound division. Do you find that there's a need for that?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm not saying I would or wouldn't go 65, but I think it's good. Every 10 pounds is good. You know, the more champions that we have, I think the better. You know, obviously you don't want too much saturation of the sport, but I think it'd be good because that 15 pound is a big jump. You know, I mean, you can see considerable size difference in 15 pounds, especially with guys cutting the way they do. And so, you know, I think the 65 would be good, but I really think the 95 would be good too, because that's, I mean, you're talking big weight. So I would like to see 65, a 95, 205, you know, every 10, and then, you know, once you get a little bit bigger. I'd like to see the unlimited too, personally, just as a fan.
Who are the 2 or 3 fighters that you would go pay to see fight right now that you're impressed with?
To go pay. Man, I'm cheap. I got 2 daughters, you know. You gotta watch that stuff at home. Let's see here. There's so many good guys. There's so many entertaining fighters nowadays. But I like the old school gritty guys, you know. I like Matt Brown, man. I like Matt Brown. I like Donald Cerrone. I like the Khabib Ferguson fight. If I wasn't fighting on that card, I'd be watching that one for sure. I'm a big fan of that one. There's lots. The 55 division, 70 division, all the top echelon guys there are great. I like them. The whole sport's just got so many good guys, and it drives me nuts when there's so much attention towards 1 or 2 guys, when there's so much great talent right now, as opposed to you know, kind of gravitating towards that and really appreciating the broad range of talent, you know. So there's a lot of guys I'd pay to go see. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Evan, what event was it? It was like the strangest thing. Oh, I made an interview. It was like Japan or something. You were there training. You recorded somebody missed it.
Forrest was fine.
Yeah, that was like, I remember that was like the craziest thing, but like, has that ever bothered you after the fact, or have you ever worried about it? Cause I remember like it happened, it was like a freak thing. Do you remember that? Like he was grappling with somebody, he almost like tore his ear off.
Oh,
like,
Good times. They started back on with like rope. It wasn't even like thread. It was like, yeah, no.
So I remember we were at the airport, I remember talking, you were telling the story, and I was like, that is the bizarrest thing I've ever heard. And it just popped in my head. I was like, I should ask him about that here. I'm glad it's still there. I'm glad it's still there.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was I don't think I was still with the UFC at the time, but yeah, when we were leaving, he hadn't fought.
Yeah,
I was like, why is your
on?
ear all tore up? And I guess they went in to like take down or something, but his head brushed against it.
Yeah,
like,
it pulled it back.
Almost pulled it out.
That's so serious.
Dude, it was like, you got it? But it's still there. That's how do you get that going into any other fight? And you're doing like,
Scared.
this literally just almost came off.
Hello guys, good morning.
How'd I know he'd be smiling?
Yeah. I like when he called himself the Mexican jerk.
And the lunch? Huh? Hello, guys.
Good, just a second, we'll get the cameras dialed in. All right, well, Brandon, it's been a few months since we've seen you. The last time out, I know, wasn't your night. It was your first UFC loss. Give me an idea, kind of the lessons that you've taken out of that and since that fight.
I mean, even I know I lose, no, you know, I know that was hard. It was a hard experience because you never go to the cage to lose, and that's what I did. I take the fight and win the fight for my people. And you know, it's Mexico City. The people is hard because the people love you if you win, but if you lose, it's like damn. So the people is hard. I know that. So what was hard? My mind was tired. My body was tired. So my most big experience there was I need a rest. No, I had a really busy, maybe 2 years, 2 busy years. My fights in Arizona, the Ultimate Fighter, my debut in UFC with the Smolka, Ryan Ortiz, and then Sergio Perez, a main event. All the meta stuff was really hard for me because it was new. You know, it's different talk with you guys because like this is easy, but now you need to go to Mexico City, and now you need to go to some other place, and it was hard. But I mean, I know it's normal, it's fine. Just was the first time and it was hard. But I think so. That was the more big experience I had.
Do you regret taking that fight? I mean, it was a main event in Mexico so early in your career. Do you regret at all taking it like too much too soon? No,
yes. I agree with the fight. I mean, I take my social media and say, hey, I want to fight in Mexico City. I don't know if I don't know about the main event. I just want to fight. But my trainer, my coach, my head coach, watched me and he says something like, man, you look like tired, but are you sure you want to fight? Like, facts. Yes, coach. I live for this. But sometimes you need to respond to your body, no? Your body is your como herramienta de trabajo.
Yeah, your tool.
Your tool. So for this time I feel really better. I feel relaxed. I feel with a lot of energy in my body and my mind. I feel ready, you know.
After your fight, you had to deal with USADA. Important to note that you were found to have no fault. But I got to ask, was that a scary time for you?
A lot.
Yeah. What was that like for you?
I mean, I was in a training, a conditioning training, and I listened my cell phone. I never take my cell phone, but I don't know. It was like really in the morning. It was like, damn, maybe I need to take my cell phone. You know, I take my cell phone. I see the number. I don't similar in my cell. I respond the call and I was hey, hello, we are USADA. We need to say that you are positive in some substance. we need to talk with you, investigate your situation, and then the guys start to ask me about a lot of things, you know, about my where was my camp, where I buy my food, where was my people who were training. I was really scared. I was like, damn, because you never think that kind of things can happen, you know. It's like you see just the you know, I don't know, Facebook or Twitter, and see the news is like, poor guy, you know. But then it's happened with me. It's like, oh, this is real, and you know. But no, I mean, USADA is really has the discipline really up, but. They have his own investigations, so everything is clear, you know.
So you're still a fan of the program, even though you had to deal with this fear and all that?
I mean, I'm not really a fan of the program. It's really strict, and you know, it's very hard to always try to watch your supplements, your food. It's hard. And more, I mean, I'm here right now in Vegas. I have 2 weeks right now here in Vegas, but I live in Tijuana, you know. My country, my house is in Tijuana, my family, all my life is in Tijuana, so I need to buy my food there. It's hard, but I hope USADA still with his investigation and that stuff.
Have you had to like change your diet and stuff? I mean, are you afraid to buy beef in Mexico, or what have you done?
A little bit, just I try to eat just meat one day in the week, you know, but that's it.
Nice.
I can do more. It's hard. You need to eat something.
Well, I appreciate you talking about it. Now let's talk about this fight. Another big matchup, right? I mean, you're coming off a loss, but you get, you know, a former title contender. What did you think when they came to you with this fight?
Man, after the fight against Sergio, I think I guess about UFC, and maybe he can say something like, this guy lose and go again to the letters, no? Just go go up to the letters. But then these guys call me and say, hey, you maybe we can fight with Draybor if you want. If you want the fight, and say, damn, I'm ready. Of course. I mean, Sergio Perez is a tough guy. He's a really tough guy. But Draybor is other thing, you know. It's really hard. He fought against Demetrius Johnson. I know Demetrius Johnson is other thing, but their guy is really good. His grappling, his striking is being better and better, and it's a good challenge. I love the challenge. The last time I don't was prepared to the challenge for my body and my mind. A lot of injuries. A lot of media new for me, so I was tired. I needed the rest to be again the feel again the energy, the flame in my heart. But right now I feel ready again. I feel amazing again. I feel smiling and I feel good.
Was there any part of you that wanted maybe an easier fight? You know, like to get your confidence back, to get another win? I mean, were you surprised by this fight?
Yeah, because, for example, the last training camp in Mexico City, I remember the Wednesday, all Wednesday in every single week, it comes the media. I was like, again, these guys, okay. But right now I feel amazing talk with you guys, with you, man, and with everybody. So yes, I love always I say the same. I love my job. I love my job. I don't like the people who is like with the bad face when he has a fight, like angry or, man, it's your work. I love my work.
Nice. And last thing for me, Juan tipped me off, told me you're the pound for pound strongest fighter here in the Performance Institute.
Goodness, of course.
Tell us about that.
Man, I was my first conditioning practice, Bu Sandoval take me for the pruebas, testing, for the testing. I do a lot of like explosive reaction, that stuff. But almost the last one was just like a bar, and you try to pull the bar, no? I don't know, I just tried to take off the bar. I don't know, but yeah, it was funny, and it's nice. I mean, I know maybe Francis Ngannou pulled more hard, but he's like 260 pounds more than me. Well, yeah. No, I don't look muscular, but yeah. Who more, guys? I'm ready.
And how'd you come up with your nickname?
Huh?
How did you come up, or who came up with the nickname?
Who? One crazy guy, I don't know why. Was one guy, and in Mexico, I was in my pro debut in 2011. The Mexican Bruce Buffer just called me the assassin baby. At first I was like, hey, I don't like that nickname. It's like, I don't know, like ugly. But and then I won the fight, and then the people started, oh, this little kid from the kindergarten, fucking assassin baby. Well, like, damn. And the started people call me that, and it's fine. It's nice, no? The assassin baby sounds good.
Did you ever get into a copyright dispute with Josh Barnett? Because he was the baby face.
I know, I never meet Josh Barnett. Maybe we can make a jiu-jitsu challenge or something for the nickname.
Because you are the strongest guy at the institute.
Of course. It's the same. I mean, the guy is big, but I'm the stronger guy here. So.
Do you still happen to work at your family's piñata shop?
No. Right now I'm a full-time MMA fighter. I love it. My time with my family. You know, it's like my base. My family started the piñata shop when I born. So I born with the piñatas, with the piñata sticks, and that stuff. And I love my family because it's a really it's people who always working for his dreams, you know. And I'm here for them. So I'm really happy for my family, for my races, yeah,
No.
races.
¿Qué quieres decir?
My races.
Oh, your roots.
I'm still working, guys. Sorry. My roots. That's it. But no, right now, full-time MMA fighter.
Would you like to see Conor McGregor get back in the octagon and fight again?
Ah, that guy. Yeah, why not? He's really good, the guy, no? He's good punch. He'd never defend his titles. That is disgusting, but I mean, the guy is really good. His last fight in the octagon against Really Alvarez was impressive. The combinations, the counters, his right hand is amazing. So I love it. Looks Conor McGregor fights, even in boxing, you know. So I just want to see this guy fight again in where boxing, MMA. It's amazing.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah. See you guys.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
See you guys. I love you guys.